city of Columbia cut back on recycling services because of a shortage of workers.
But for the recycling it does collect, it's having a tough time selling it. We found out how much less the city is making from selling recycling. In the Target 8 investigation, KOMU 8's Daniel Perot found out the reason why lies halfway around the world.
Most people wouldn't think what happens in China actually affects their recycling bins, but in some mid-Missouri cities, it has made the recycling services disappear. A symphony of mashing and collapsing.
Today's Friday, so it's a cleanup day.
Plastics, cans, and cardboard.
So they are one of our more difficult products to move.
Beyond the stacks of recycling at Columbia's material recovery facility, there's a lingering problem caused by China.
It does depress the prices that we're generating on a per unit basis.
In 2018, concerns over dirty or hazardous waste in recycling prompted the country to ban recyclables with more than 0.5% contamination. According to Waste Management, the average contamination of recyclables at the curb is 25%.
They were certainly more strict, what they call carried waste thresholds than what they had been in the past. They're not impossible to meet, they just make it more difficult and by extension more costly to process the material to the carried waste thresholds they have in place.
That decision, made halfway around the globe, has a direct impact on us here in mid-Missouri.
When they're consuming that much of the world's feedstock, whenever all of a sudden they stop buying it or stop importing it, well, that creates an oversupply everywhere, which is why it affects the United States and Europe too.
Consider a basic supply and demand curve. With China no longer accepting American recycled goods, there are more recycled goods on the market for American companies. That means supply increases, but demand decreases because there are more goods available, so each one is worth less.
So in essence, we're still selling to a lot of the same vendors. It's just the main effect that we're feeling is in the reduction of what we're receiving for that product.
Through September 25th, the city has made nearly $850,000. A 27% decrease from the nearly $1.1 million they made last year.
We're seeing a majority of the effect on the fiber side, so the paper side of our house.
While Columbia feels a small pinch, others in Cole County feel the brunt. Earlier this year, Republic Services stopped collecting recyclables in St. Martin's, Wardsville, and Russellville. In a letter to customers, the company said China's changing standards made it impossible to maintain its courtesy recycling service.
I'm not sure what we're going to do with them now, but we, just in a week, we would ordinarily almost fill that up.
St. Martin's residents now have to take their recyclables to a recycling facility themselves. Back in Columbia, White says the city is better positioned to withstand the changes. The city operates a dual stream system, meaning
we're collecting the material from the citizens already somewhat pre-sorted.
Most other cities in mid-Missouri operate a single stream system.
Everything is intermixed and more inputs are required for the separation of that material into marketable goods.
While China's decision has compressed profits, White says it's not all about the money.
We want to keep this material out of the landfill where it's not going to break down, where it's going to consume airspace. So the city finds a lot of value in the processes associated with recycling outside of generating revenue.
And at last check, St. Martin's is still looking for a permanent path forward with recycling. In the studio, Daniel Perot, KOMU 8 News.
All right, here is a